Jamie Harvey, come on up from Sponto. Let's give it up for him.
Thanks, Pete. Feel like I'm with my people, so thanks for having me here tonight. So my name's Jamie Harvey. I'm the founder of Sponto. Sponto is an app for discovering what's going on around you. You can discover parties and concerts and singles events and deals and essentially the way that it works is as you walk around, it goes out to a bunch of APIs on the internet and sucks in everything that's relevant going around you and streams it past you. And then it facilitates an elastic social network with the other people who are in the area to be able to communicate about the events. So if you really want to have fun with this conversation, what I recommend you do is you take out your Android phone and you go to the market and you download Sponto, because actually we have a raging little conversation going on here at MoDev Meetup, where we've got 7 people checked in and 8 photos uploaded and a little conversation going on. Some people have been doing it while we've been talking. I've been asking some friends to download it. Sponto is in open alpha. It's only available in the DC area, so essentially we've only turned on the events in the DC area. We're planning on going live nationwide next month. So I'm really here today to kind of talk about my experience with doing Sponto. I've been working on Sponto for a while. I raised a little money last spring. I raised about $300K, led by Amplifier Ventures. And essentially we put out a product in the spring, worked on it over the summer, came to the conclusion that it wasn't working, have done a pretty major pivot, and this is the new product. We went into open alpha about 4 days ago. So it's a brand new product, and would be delighted if you'd try it. Would be delighted if you helped us work on it as we're going along. And I would be delighted if you would just stand still for a second while I take all of your guys' picture and post it to Sponto so that it goes out to all my Facebook friends. Okay, say cheese. Very good, now you're in Sponto. So this is Sponto. Essentially, our mission is to change the way you go out. And I'm a person who, in order to be organized, essentially I have to turn myself inside out and do stuff that's unnatural to me. My whole goal in life would be to walk around and never have to write down anything in my calendar and have the world tell me what to do. Okay? So that's my vision of the world. And essentially, the way I see it, if we're all carrying around connected devices, we could make that happen. So essentially, Sponto puts the hottest events happening right now at your fingertips, and we've made it very, very simple. There's only 3 screens in Sponto. There's a feed, there's events, there's people, and then there's the curation that you can do in real time around what's happening now. And anything that's got activity where people are doing stuff comes to the top and gets presented to you. The effect is that we discover everything that's happening nearby. And in a way, because I'm asking you guys to download it, you'll be like, oh, this is kind of BS, what he's talking. It's not every concert. Okay, it's not every concert yet, all right? Because we've got like one API hooked up. We're hooking up the Facebook API. We're going to be hooking up the Eventbrite API. There's about 5 APIs on our roadmap over the next couple of months. Pretty soon we're going to have every event. Plus we've got user-generated content. And down the road, when we start getting to mass, we've also got this ability to detect when people get together. So our vision is really, you can see everything that's happening near you right now and everything that's happening with your friends. And it's just piped right to your pocket and put in a stream so that you don't have to do anything. There's no searching, there's no browsing, there's no planning, it comes to you. So every concert, every event, every party, and essentially you never miss a thing that's nearby. We really want to give you the experience of like, oh boy, I don't want to miss anything, I better check Sponto, right? So the other thing that it does is that it just automatically hooks you into what's going on with your Facebook friends. So we are going to be subscribing to the events that are in Facebook and to the multi-person check-ins that are in Facebook, and essentially show you what's going on with your friends too. We're interested in having people be using social networking in the real world to get out. I don't know about you. I was in social networking before they called it social networking, and I had this great vision for like what it would do for my life. For the most part, social networking actually has ruined my life. Can anybody relate to that? Like, you don't want to admit it, but it's all right. It's all right. I feel your pain. Like the oh my gosh, why am I checking Facebook again kind of experience. I have a vision for social networking where it actually gets you out and being social, and Sponto is a part of that. So essentially, you can see the parties. These are real pictures from real parties, from real users in Sponto. That's because we did a college campuses to begin with. That's a Halloween party. That guy's Borat. You're lucky you can't see the whole picture. That's Maryland Day, and that's beer pong. You can use it to find your people. You know, you come out of a basketball game and you're like, want to go and celebrate your victory with your fans. Sponto's a great way to like find out where your people are, right? And really like customize it to live your scene. You know, right now our big focus is on big concerts and events that are sort of published. But at the end of the day, we're really interested in being able to serve that long tail, where if what you're really into is late night foosball table, you know, where guys are drinking beer, that you can find late night foosball where guys are drinking beer. And if you're really into meeting with mobile developers, you can find mobile developers. And that you can kind of tune that experience so that all that's getting piped into your pocket. Less planning, more playing. Only in DC. It's free to download. We've got about 187 people testing it right now. Like, if everybody here who had an Android phone got on it, played with it a little bit, and sent me feedback, that would be tremendously valuable. Because when I talk about marketing tonight, what I'm going to talk about is the experience of banging your head. So Sponto is a product that must market itself to work. Really, like, if we're going out there doing big ad buys, we've sort of already biffed it, you know what I mean? So what we've been doing is really looking at lots and lots of data that comes back from the app about how people are using it, and actually then tuning the app to make it an app that markets itself. But we basically went through one cycle of that and didn't work. Pete, do we have enough time that I could share the data with people? I think actually for this group it would be interesting for this topic.
Yeah, a couple minutes and then we'll get the panel started.
So I'm gonna pull up Flurry. I did this test. So I did this test around DC Week. I don't know if some of you might have noticed if you're on the list around here, where I said, hey, we're doing a DC Week edition of Sponto. And basically what we did was we crammed 50 people on the platform in 2 days and then saw how it worked. And you can see the spike here. This is the activity during DC Week. So we had a real nice little bump in what was going on. And do you guys know Flurry? Okay, if you're an app developer and you don't know Flurry, it's worth getting to know. So this was DC Week, right? This is our launch right now. That last week is a partial week, which is why it's dipping down there. I'm really hoping it's going to keep going up, right? But what I want to show you is actually the user retention numbers. Because here's our pivot. What you can see here is essentially for this cohort of users, we got 40 users on in the week of October 31st, and a week later, only 13 of them were on there, right? And then as we went along, that actually got worse, right? So, you know, by the time we were in November, I would put on 5 users and I'd keep none of them. And when you see this, you're dead, right? If you, for those of you who've done this, you look at this and you go, oh my gosh, we are way off here. And so what we've essentially done was we went and talked to our users. We said, hey, you told us you liked the app. Why are you not using it anymore? And they basically said, you know, every time I went there, it's empty, right? Because it was all user-generated content. So we've performed this pivot. We've crammed in these APIs. We've got the new version out. We got 100 people on it, and right now the numbers actually look like the retention's pretty good. So essentially, that's sort of the phase that we're at. What I think I'm going to be able to speak to on the panel today is the gut-wrenching process of clawing your way through that and doing the measurements and making the adjustments. So, any questions before we? Yeah.
Yeah, I just left a comment in the app.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, you're Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Keith. Thanks for getting on. Well, let me see.
But no, so I think it's interesting because it looks like you decided to develop for Android first, just anecdotally, by seeing before that. Can you sort of explain the rationale for that and why you go Android first?
So one thing is that the numbers bear out doing Android first now, for the first time. And Eric Schmidt came out and said, next summer doing Android first is going to be the new normal. I think, certainly if the trends keep going, I think that may be true. Barg is looking at me and he's like smiling because we talked about this a lot this summer. We actually decided to do iOS first, partially out of a conversation that I was having with Barg, where we were like, for whatever reason, social networks take off on iOS first, right? It's just when people don't even necessarily know why, but like that's sort of the way it goes. And we hired an iOS developer, and he started, and then 3 days later he got recruited away, earning 5 times more money for the National Institute of Health. And our team knew Android inside and out, so we went forward with Android. That's the real reason we did it on Android. I have lots of other rationalizations, but talent, you play the cards you're dealt, and we have an expert Android programmer on our staff. We did that first.
And also, you could iterate daily. You can hourly if you wanted to.
Yes.
What's working, what's not working, fix bugs and all that stuff.
Yeah, because we had always outsourced our iOS development, so we had that internal capacity. Yeah.
Have you decided on the revenue model?
Yeah, so fundamentally the Sponto revenue model is butts in seats, which is to say you're a restaurant or you're a venue and you have capacity and you want to be able to fill it with people who are nearby looking for something to do. We have the population of people who are nearby looking for something to do. We're focusing on venues that are near large event attractors. So we're looking down by the Verizon Center and we're looking near stadiums. And essentially the idea is, okay, if you're the Green Turtle but down by the Verizon Center, you don't need Sponto because you're actually full after every game. But if you're Thai cuisine 2 blocks further up, you're essentially dead to the Verizon Center. So essentially what we're doing is giving you the ability to have location that's better than your location. And we're working with restaurants and venues in the area. It's very, very valuable to those venues. Yeah.
Do you expect the majority of the events to be hosted by the restaurants or the centers, or do you expect some of the events to be hosted by the users themselves, saying that they did this event, and what's their model, which one's more likely? Well, obviously the restaurants are more likely, but still.
So right now, most of our events come from the APIs. So essentially, and so we use Eventful for the first one, and we're doing Eventbrite. And Facebook, actually, we wanted to do first, but you only get the events that people are subscribed to when you do Facebook, so there's no point in us doing that until we have more users, right? I expect that most of the events are going to be coming out of those APIs for the foreseeable future. Our original model was that it was all user-generated content, and that was really where we fell down. So I would say we've gone really heavy towards letting the internets solve that problem for us. I love saying internets, yeah.
What's your plan against existing, competitors in the field and becoming, companies, business models as well?
So one, I'm sort of a believer in focus on giving a great experience and delivering value to your users. And at our stage, it's worrying about competitors is mainly either for fundraising or marketing or for getting attention, not for reality. The company that we considered to be our biggest competitor, like the guys trying to do what we just did, which was networking in real time at an event and sharing photos, is a company called Color, which you've all heard of, which we're terrified of. And then they also copied our college thing over the summer, so we were like, wow, they're coming after us. The truth of the matter is Color doesn't matter to us, and we don't matter to Color at all right now. Hurricane Party was our other big competitor. They've done a pivot away from the space. It's hard. It's very, very hard to do stuff in real time in location synchronously. It's very hard to do stuff in real time with location synchronously. We think we've cracked that code, but whoever cracks it is going to be $1 billion company. So we're really just focusing on execution.
Cool. Let's roll into our panel.
Yeah.
Thank you.